My name is Shane Bassett, your host, the movie analyst, and I am very keen to talk to Sarah because I saw the movie The Caller and it's incredible. I actually really enjoyed it. It's a little indie that kept me really intrigued. It's intense and it's almost like a one-off all-starring films with Sarah on her own for most of the film. Good morning from Australia.
Hello, good morning to you.
Have you ever been down under?
I haven't, but it is
Oh,
on my bucket for sure.
yeah. Well, I've said this many times. There's lots of productions, lots of good movies happening, international and local. So maybe one day you'll get a project here.
Lovely. Yeah, I would love to. Why not?
The movie The Caller is mostly just you. Is that intimidating when it's you on your own without a scene partner?
I think at first, when I read the script and I got offered the part, it seemed a little intimidating, but then it quickly turned into excitement
Yeah.
because I'd never done anything like that before. And I thought, well, this is a new challenge for me as an actor. And I love to be challenged and try something new. So I actually found the experience really quite exciting. It was great.
You go through a lot of emotions during the film. Uh, did you draw from anything? Because you're a lovely person, but you get drawn into some extreme nastiness at times. Has anything like that happened to you before to draw from as an actor?
Thankfully, I've never actually had any experiences close to the film.
Good.
So that's good. But so no, I didn't draw from anything in real life. I just tried to be in the moment. I find always being in the moment with my character's thoughts and the situation that she is in, it just really helps me to not be stuck in my mind, be the character and enjoy it,
Yeah.
you know.
Is acting something that you have always wanted to do? Is it something that you were destined to do? Did you start from an early age?
Well, I've always loved performing,
Yeah.
and my mum took me to my first dance class when I was about 3.
Ah,
So I've danced for a very long time, and I thought that was the path that I wanted to go. And then just some health complications with my joints from just doing ballet from such a young age. It came along. And I thought, well, I don't want to give up performing. I love performing and I love being around performers and, having that buzz that you get. So I thought, well, I did a little bit of drama at school. I thought I'm just going to go for it. So that is exactly what I did. And I just started working for free just to gain experience.
sure.
And
Yeah.
I started learning on every job that I took. I was learning from fellow actors, um, from directors, producers, and I just really enjoyed that process of just being there and, throwing myself into any sort of situation and just learning.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you did because having seen you in this movie, even though you're on the phone, were you taking direction from the director during that time? Was there a script in front of you? Was there someone actually talking to you on the phone, or were you just acting like without any noise or voices through the headphones while you were getting fed?
Uh, Rich was good with the direction, when he
Yeah.
had some specific points in mind and thoughts. Um, but most of the time, yes, I did have someone talking on the phone to me. I
Yeah.
did, which was very helpful. But I would have actually been excited for the challenge to not have anyone to really use my imagination, you know?
Yeah, well,
But
that's what I was guessing that maybe that was the case. But so there was someone in your ear talking.
yes, yes, pretty much most of the time. Yeah.
Did your character have any other outcomes, or was the way the film finished always the way the script was written?
The way. the film is that you've seen. That's the only way that I know. But
Mm.
I'm not sure if Rich had any other different endings. I'm not sure. I should ask him that. It'd be quite interesting.
Yeah, I wanted to see alternative endings for you.
Yeah. What would you have liked to see?
Oh, well, an action figure of you. I think you really could have stepped up and I don't know, come into your own. I mean, yeah, I don't want to give too much away, but you sort of change. Your character develops along the way. It was supposed to be just a bit of a break in like a holiday house, doing
Yeah.
some work and house sitting, but it turned into a lot more. It's a small movie, but a lot of things happen.
Yeah, you're very right there because she goes there for the break because she had a breakup with her boyfriend.
Yeah,
So it's quite mediocre. And then, she's just a young girl, trying to get over the heartache. And then it becomes a lot more serious than that.
mm.
So all of that pre stuff that happened before just goes out the window and none of that matters anymore because it's just a fight for survival.
Do you answer the phone every time you get a call, or are you a sort of person that goes, nah?
Yeah, I am that person. I always look at the phone first, and if it's someone I know,
Yeah,
I'll answer it. It's especially, well, I always answer my dad's calls, and then I'll judge the situation of what I'm doing if I'll answer other calls to
totally.
other people. If it's not a saved number, I don't answer it because then I think, well, if it's someone I know and it's super important, they're just going to leave me a voicemail, and then I can call them straight back.
Exactly. And if it's spam, well, they're not going to leave a voicemail normally.
Exactly. Yeah, they're just going to keep calling.
That's it.
Then you
Uh,
know it's bad.
yeah, I know. It totally happens in Australia as well.
Yeah, all the time here in the UK, all the time.
Dancing, you were mentioning that. Did you have to stop dancing because of medical reasons? Do you still dance at all, or is acting definitely now just the only performance arts that you do?
So for work-wise, it is just acting, but
Mm.
I still do take dance lessons. I've just started some ballroom because I've never actually done that before.
Oh,
Even having
nice.
some half dancing background, I just did all the basics like ballet, tap, jazz, contemporary, even cheerleading and Irish dancing. And
Mm.
then I stopped that quite a few years ago. And then I thought, I want to get back into it just for a hobby, which I actually can carry over into acting too.
Yeah.
So I started taking ballroom lessons, which has been quite nice. And upkeep that as well.
You can incorporate that into maybe a project. You can be a dancing phone operator or something else.
Yeah, of course. Someone needs to write it for me.
Have you ever thought about writing or directing yourself? There's a lot of opportunities out there.
Yes, I do enjoy to write actually, and
Okay.
I had written my very first short film, which I directed, co-produced, and I starred in. That's released actually on YouTube. It's called Snowdrop. So I have ventured into that world, and I've made my own short film. And I do have a lot of projects that I'm writing all at once because I really enjoy coming up with ideas.
Yep.
I love that. So I really like to write treatments and then
Yep.
see if I can connect with other people to expand on the treatment. But I do like writing as well.
Do you carry around like a little notepad and a pen everywhere you go for that idea that you don't want to forget? You have to note down immediately, or do you put everything into your phone?
I really want to say that I do because I am a notepad and pen girl,
Yep.
but I just quick if I'm out, I jot it on my phone. But if I'm at home, I will write it into my notepad because I do enjoy more writing down rather than on the laptop or the phone.
Yeah, I'm
And there's
totally the same.
one.
I've got to write everything down physically, even though I'm writing constantly on my laptop. it's just things that you need to put down on a piece of paper, I reckon.
Yeah, it feels different. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's like I'm a bit of an old soul and an old fashioned, but there's just something I don't know that must help the creative aspect of just pen on paper and writing, you know?
Yeah,
It's
no,
just
I
about
agree.
it.
Have you ever had any hurdles in your career? Any roadblocks, like being, thankfully it's changed. There's the Me Too and the Time's Up era. As a female, have you ever had any problems, or has it never been an issue for you in this industry?
No, thankfully.
That's good.
Nothing like that, but just maybe more so normal family stuff. You know, I lost my mum
Oh,
in 2020 um, when COVID started, and I actually booked myself my first feature film after COVID. So after everything had opened up in the UK, I booked a feature. So I was so happy to get back to it, and I lost my mum, unfortunately.
mm,
That was a massive hurdle for me because I had to really think, can I go on set in 2 weeks and do this film and do it well? Like, can I actually perform and not let anyone down? So it was a big time for me to really decide, you know, what's right for me to do. But ultimately, I knew deep down that my mum, she would want me to go and perform because
yeah.
she always rooted for me, dancing, acting. She would come to auditions with me, she would come on set with me. So I knew it was the right thing for me to do. And it really was a hurdle, but I did it. And I'm very grateful that I did it because it actually changed my life doing that film.
Oh, I'm really glad to hear that. I'm sorry to hear about your mum, but you've pushed on and you're I mean, I saw a movie you were in about a crocodile and you're in the opening scene and then
Yeah,
you weren't in the rest of the movie. You got attacked.
I did. Yeah, I got killed. Second one to get killed in the film.
It was called Croc Down Under, and yeah, I reckon you could have been one of the leads, but you disappeared. I watched it purposely. I knew I was talking to you, and I watched it. But I got through the whole movie, but you were gone after the first 5 minutes.
I know, what a disappointment, right?
Exactly. Yeah. I need a backstory on that character, I think.
Now I need to be in it longer than 5 minutes, right?
Yeah, I think we need a Croc prequel before the wedding.
I'm up for that. I'm up for that.
Well,
That'd be good fun.
speaking of backstories, I mean, your character in the caller has a little bit of a backstory that's talked about, but did you think about it when you were filming? What was, her story, or not really? You just went from script to screen.
Um, I touched on it a little bit, yes, in,
Okay.
the process of building my character. And quite a lot of it was actually written within the storyline,
Mm,
having a boyfriend in the breakup, going to her uncle's to house sit just to get away, to have some time out and working in this job. So I had a lot there to already work with, but
yeah.
the stuff that's not written, I touch on it a little bit if needed and use my imagination if it's not there for me.
Okay.
But with this character, I don't actually think I really needed to dive too deep for it.
No, no, I guess not. The great Eric Roberts was there as a voice character. Had Did you actually speak to him, at all during production, or meet him?
He actually sent Richard some videos of
Ah,
him rehearsing. Uh, so some of the call with myself, he sent
yeah,
some videos rehearsing and going through, which is actually really, really cool and exciting to see. Um, and you know what? It was just unbelievable to hear his voice in the film.
oh
He's just
yeah,
got such a great voice, hasn't he? And he's
yeah,
such a star. It's just unreal to find out, when Richard told me that they'd cast him.
yeah.
Such an exciting time.
I know, it's like you and Eric Roberts. I mean, that must be a thrill in itself.
It's epic. It's epic, isn't it?
I had a chance to interview him once, and he told me that he goes, I have to stop because sometimes he goes from one set in the morning to another set in the afternoon. He's doing like 2 movies in one day.
Oh wow. Wow, that's
Yeah,
insane. That
yeah,
is dedication, isn't it?
yeah. During the COVID period, as an actor, it must have been tough. Did you still manage to get work, or how did you manage to sort of stay in the industry, or was it a complete blockout for you for a little while?
Well, when COVID hit and lockdown started, it was just complete blackout,
Yeah.
nothing. So everything stopped. So just had nothing. But I really tried to stay in that creative mindset. So I actually remember I took this 30-day self-tape challenge course
Okay.
uh, with Manuel Puro. He's a casting director in the UK.
Okay.
And he was doing an online course where actors, you commit for 30 days and you do a self-tape every single day, and he supplies the monologues. So I stuck with that, which kept me, you know, in the game and doing auditions. Pretty much it felt like I was doing auditions from home and perfecting it and then posting it, and then you would get feedback from him and all the other actors, which created a nice little community feel,
Mm.
and it kept me creative. And I also continued to write when I felt, oh, I've got an idea, let's write. And
Good.
so I just tried my best to stay in that creative zone as much as I could.
How do you find the UK industry, film industry? I know in Australia there's a lot of projects. We're thriving at the moment, both television and film. Do you find that in the UK as well? There's plenty of opportunities, or do you have to like go out there looking? I don't know if you've got an agent, but do you go out there looking, or do they come to you when it comes to auditions and projects?
I do have an agent. It's Kay Freeman
Yep.
at and Talent, and she's great. She gets me really good auditions, and there actually is a nice constant flow of
Yeah.
auditions, which is great. But I do actually seek out work myself all
Yep.
the time, all the time. I can't just sit around and wait for that email or that phone call from my agent.
Good.
It's just not in my nature. You know, I have to work and I've got to do something every single day,
Yep.
which is a step closer to my dream and my goal. Whether it's emailing directors and producers, or I sit on IMDb and I scroll at who is working and who those directors are, who the casting directors are,
Good.
the actors, and I just do I do work. I work at it because I think you actually have to put yourself out there. It's not an easy industry,
No.
and you have to do what you can.
Yeah.
You
No,
really
I
do.
totally. I'm glad that you use that incentive yourself, because it's not going to come to you sometimes. And if there's something that appeals to you, you need to reach out.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I also found recently, going to film festivals is so helpful. It opens up this world of connection. You know,
Networking.
yes. Oh my gosh, I went to Cannes Film Festival for the first time
Oh, did
last year,
you?
and it's changed everything because I met one director, one amazing director. I did meet a lot of people, but one director
Yep.
who was looking for actors, and he asked me to come and do a tiny bit of filming for him, which was for a proof of concept, because he's actually one of those directors who just can't sit still when he wants to just work.
Good.
So even
Okay.
during Cannes Film Festival, he wanted to do a little bit of filming. So I said, yeah, sure, of course, I'm up for that. And then from that 5 minutes of filming, he cast me in his film as the lead.
Oh,
And and that was from meeting him in Cannes. So it's just unbelievable, going to these places. It opens up a world of possibilities.
well, Cannes is the place to be.
Yeah.
It's always a place where I would love to report from. There are so many movies, and like you say, people from around the world, and in general, film festivals are worth going to for networking. So you'll have to go to more. Maybe come down under to one of our film festivals,
Oh, I
Sydney,
love it.
Melbourne.
Yeah, yeah, it'd be brilliant. And you sound like you do have like so much going on in
Yeah,
Australia.
there
Have to
seems to
find.
be. Yeah, and I'm glad to be part of it. I really endorse the Australian film industry, and we get a lot of international filmmakers and cast that will come down under and work. So if you're up for it, I'm sure we'll see you down here one day.
Absolutely. I was going to ask you, do you welcome international actors and directors and producers? That's what I was going to ask, but you answered it for me.
Yeah, yeah, it happens a lot, and I totally, as much as I endorse our local filmmaking talent and screen talent, I do believe that we have a big list of international casts that seem to come down here on a regular basis. So I don't know if you need a different agent for that, like an international agent, but you never know what might happen. And the caller is it's almost like a self-tape for you because you're on your own during most of the movie.
Yeah, exactly. I know. Brilliant.
Is there anything you wouldn't do, Sarah, for a role? Would you shave your head? Would you change up your appearance, or are there limitations to things that you would do, not do?
I think it always depends on what the film is, the story, the character, the meaning behind it, the background. I think I can never rule anything out because it just depends on the project
Mm,
and even difficult things that you may get asked to do.
mm.
What's the reason? What's the reason for it? And is it justified? So yeah, I don't think I would ever rule anything out. And I think if it's right, then it's there for a reason and it's okay to do.
What do you like at accents? Now, to be a good actor, you need to do at least one or two different accents than your own. Are you any good? Have you done any before?
Yes, so the one I was telling you about, I got offered from doing this 5 minutes of filming in Cannes.
Yeah.
I actually ended up changing my character to American. So she's American. I also did another one. That one is called Escape. It's
Okay.
actually we have a European premiere next month in Bruges. In
Oh,
Bruges
fantastic.
for that one, and that's being released, I think, worldwide in March. I think. But yes, so she's American in that one. I did another one recently, Southern. I was Southern from Nashville. That was that was really cool. I actually quite like doing Southern. It's a bit easier than the general American.
Okay. Yeah. No, I'm hopeless at accents, but I really applaud talent and actors that can change it up because you really need to be able to have a convincing at
Yeah,
least one to two accents in your repertoire.
absolutely. It helps. It opens your career up so much more.
And obviously, what I'm getting at is, do you think you'd be able to do an Australian accent if it was called on?
I've been told I can do an Australian accent, and you know
Ah,
what? Other people actually mistake me for being Australian.
do they? Interesting.
And I think it's when I'm a bit more, I don't know, when I've been around people from where I'm from,
Yeah.
this little bit of a twang comes out. And then people say, "Are you Australian?" And I say, "No." And they say, "You've lived in Australia, haven't you?" And no, I haven't. You've been there. No, I haven't. I just sometimes sound Australian. I get it a lot.
Okay. Well, how about we make you an honorary Australian? But you have to make a movie here first, and then we'll make you an
I,
honorary Australian.
okay, it's a deal.
Are there any screen partners? And I mean, I'm sure there's a whole list, but any particular actors or directors are like a dream scene partner or a dream director that you'd like to work with?
that I would like to work with or have worked with?
Well, firstly, someone you admire and have watched and that you really would like to work with someday.
I'd really love to work with Steven Spielberg.
Yeah, good choice.
I grew up with all his films, and his films hold a massive place in my heart
Yeah.
because it's the memories with my family. And yeah, I would just love to work with him. I think it would be unreal.
Yeah, good choice. I'm the same, like growing up with Spielberg's films, and they stand the test of time. Do you remember films when you were a kid? Like, did you go to the movies? Did you watch them on television, or how did you start watching films? I know you're now, as an actor, you're in films, but how did you start watching them as a child and admiring movies?
Always watching films on the TV with my
Yeah,
parents, and we were very lucky, and we were always taken to the cinema. And a film I really, really remember so vividly going to in Leicester Square in London with my
yeah,
parents was Jurassic Park. And it was just epic. It was so epic. It's just unreal. The whole film, the music, the cast,
yeah.
the dinosaurs. I really remember that so much in my mind as just such a great family outing and such a great film.
You weren't scared to pieces because it's just had its 30th anniversary, because it was
Yes.
1993 and we're now talking in 2023. It's having its 30th. Were you freaked out? I mean, I loved it myself, I agree, but did it scare you? Because I know a lot of parents took their kids back in the day and they freaked out.
Funnily enough, it did not scare me. It didn't scare
Oh,
me. I was so excited, but it scared my mum. And I remember her saying, "Sarah, can you sit on my lap?" And she picked me up and she put me on her lap and she put her arms around me. And I think she didn't watch it when it got really scary, when it started taking off. And I was thinking in the moment, what's wrong? She was just a bit scared. She wasn't one for horror films. She didn't like anything like that.
well, there's a nice memory for your mum as well that you've just shared.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Yeah. Great memory.
It was the first digital movie. I don't know if you know this, but it was on film, but it was the first digital sound movie.
Oh,
All cinemas had to get a new sound system just to play it.
oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's groundbreaking in
Okay.
that way as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Oh.
before we wrap up and just, I want your opinion on The Caller and why people should watch it. What have we got to look forward to in your acting future? I know you said we've got like that movie that you've got coming up in March next year, but is there anything else you're working on? Are you writing anything else? Are you directing, or you got any projects coming up you can share?
I'm currently in the process of writing two feature film scripts. One
Okay.
is horror and one is a romantic drama. So completely different, you know, two ends of the spectrum.
That sounds good to
Uh,
me.
yeah, just thought, well, horror sells, but then I really want to do a lovely, you know, love story. So I just thought, well, I'll just write both. So I'm in the process of writing these, and I've got a few films coming out next year. Escape is one,
Yep.
Witch is one, The Manor. They they're both horrors, and then Escape is an action thriller.
Yep.
And I'm also off to Thailand in November to
Oh,
shoot an action thriller for 6 weeks. I can't really say too much because you're a little early in the release. Nothing has been released yet of the talk about the film. So
okay.
that is to come very soon. But yes, I'm setting out to Thailand in, I think, a week and a week and a bit, maybe. So yeah, super exciting. All the way up to Christmas.
Wow. Thailand is, it's not that far away from Australia. You might be able to
Yeah,
come down here after filming.
after. Yeah, you never know. You never know. If I can get out of not coming back for Christmas, which I'm not sure if I can.
Uh,
We'll
uh,
see.
Look, I just watched a movie that was filmed over in Thailand called Death of Me with Maggie Q and Luke Hemsworth.
Oh,
And yeah, there's a lot of productions happening also over in Thailand. It was a pretty good movie if you get a chance to watch it. A horror movie about rituals and a cult called The Death of Me. So, and that was all
okay.
filmed on location in Thailand.
Nice. Seems to be the place to go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I think so too. In your own words, why should people choose to watch The Caller? There's a lot of movies to choose from. Having seen it and given it a really good review, I recommend it. But why do you think people should watch The Caller, other than yourself and Eric Roberts being in it?
I just think if you want, a really good, fun, exciting watch, something different as well,
Mm.
it's the film for you. It's you can sit back and relax and then grow with the tension as it comes, and you will end up on the edge of your seat, no doubt. Rooting for Izzy. I hope you root for Izzy. And yeah, it will not disappoint. The Caller. It's a brilliant little film. Really, really great film, for indie filmmaking. I think Richard's done great.
It achieves a lot, and Izzy puts up with a lot. I mean, there's a lot of lost bank cards and things. Do you think that really happens?
Probably. It
Yeah.
wouldn't surprise me. Probably.
Now
Yeah.
you're a bit like me, Sarah. You use your whole name. I'm Shane Adam Bassett. You're Sarah Alexandra Marks. Was that a choice that you wanted to do, like use your whole name, or was it something that was always part of you? Did you always call yourself the three names?
Yeah, I mean, that's the name that my parents gave me at birth, and I wanted to use it. I thought, well, why not? So many people try to, deviate me from using
Really?
Alexandra. Yeah, and they were saying, no, it's too much. People don't do that anymore.
No, that's not
Um,
correct.
yeah, and I stuck to it, and I thought, no, that's the name my parents gave me. I want to use that because I feel like that shows respect to my parents to keep my given name for the career I've chosen. So, and I'm glad I stuck with it because people did really try to, sway me, and I was thinking, no, 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 that's not
I'm
right.
glad that you did.
Yeah, why not, right? Why
Yeah.
not?
And when you're in like an Australian, if we work overseas, you take a little bit of Australia with you. So most people will take Vegemite or something like that. What will you do being British? What will you do when you go to Thailand? Will you take a little bit of Britain with you? Anything?
A little bit of Britain.
Yeah.
Oh, question. Um, I know I'll definitely be taking my rooibos tea, but that's not British. um, I've grown obsessed with rooibos tea rather than breakfast tea. I'm sorry, Brits, but rooibos has taken over. Normally, I would have taken my English breakfast tea, but I do love a good cup of tea and a biscuit. But I think that's the only thing that I would take, really, that I have a little bit of a ritual at home is a really nice cup of tea.
So if any prospective producer or director or someone's looking to hire you, that's it. You've got to have your tea.
My rooibos tea, that's it. I'm very easily pleased. And maybe a biscuit, a little biscuit.
Thank you very much.